Protecting your boundaries. In relationships, life hacks that help keep things from ending. In a breakup, have you ever wondered what makes us a whole person? How do people around you see your attractiveness? And why do they want to spend more time with you than with Playboy Anthony or Businessman Max, or the opposite? Why doesn't a person fall apart? And why does their psychological system have a certain shape? Each person is a certain vessel, and like water in a glass, takes its shape. Let's call this vessel a person's boundaries. The most interesting thing is that among everything we can't control, boundaries are quite controllable. Think about it. Why can you raise your voice at some people and ignore their requests, while for others, you'd do anything, just so the person would appreciate it? A consequence of sound boundaries is high personal significance. Significance doesn't arise from a vacuum. A vivid example is Tinder, where people first evaluate someone's physical data, and only then their behavior. From a photo alone, you can almost fall in love, but within the first hour of chatting, be completely disappointed in the person. How to visualize boundaries? I'll record a separate video to make this clearer. In the simplest terms, there is what's yours and what isn't. Boundaries are the fence that separates territories. If there's no fence, you faintly understand where yours ends and someone else's begins. A simple example. A girlfriend is texting on her phone, turning away from you. You, in turn, snatch the phone and read the messages. Do you think you're violating her boundaries? Of course you are. Why? Because you don't understand that the other person isn't shared and isn't yours. But isn't it easier to catch someone when you have evidence? Yes, of course it's easier. But you lack an understanding of boundaries. And what does that do to you? Suppose there are no boundaries between your yard and your neighbors, and strawberries grow in the beds. You roughly understand that half the beds are yours and half aren't. So, you ate all your strawberries and subconsciously start shifting the boundaries, thinking, that bush seems to still be on my side. You're full and you feel good. But there's no fence for your neighbor either. And at some point, you come out and see them burning grass on your plot. And instead of a neat lawn, you've got a huge scorched hole. And the neighbor calmly continues and brings up the strawberries. Without boundaries, you've got more room to roam. But at some point, the other person gets bored with it and steps into your territory. Without boundaries, you're defenseless against manipulation. Even if your emotional state is very stable right now, knowing the mechanisms, it's easy to knock you out of it and take everything on your territory. Protecting your own boundaries. There's a very apt law in the US worth citing here. If I discover a person on my property, I have the right to shoot them. You are your home. Your self-respect is your home. So, why do you allow people to rob and destroy it? You must understand that if your loved one systematically insults and humiliates you, that's not your loved one. That is a person who should have no access to your territory. And friends, magic! As soon as you start living by this principle, you yourself stop insulting and humiliating others, understanding that such behavior should trigger rejection. You build a fence with a gate, and you open the gate only to people who are not dangerous to you. And if someone on your territory shows destructive behavior, you understand they got in through your gate. And next time, you simply don't open it for them. You don't then go to their territory and reproach them for such behavior. No, you're the master only on your own. That person isn't there, and that's enough. And if they liked being at your place, they'll understand they're losing it because of their destructive behavior. See the difference between this and the "you can't do this to me" behavior? When you say, "you can't do this to me," your gate is wide open. There's a banner above it saying, "Come in," and there's a lasso around the person's neck that you're using to pull them toward you. They don't feel good at your place, but you keep luring and luring. And you beat them when they're only doing everything to be released and never called back. You kick them out, then run to them, ask them not to treat you that way, put the rope back around their neck, and pull again. Breakup and boundaries. If you have clear boundaries, you won't be offered a breakup. By proposing a breakup, the girlfriend cuts the rope from her neck and shows she doesn't want it. No rope, No breakup. With the breakup, the girlfriend sets up a fence, shuts the gate, and lets the dogs loose. But if the fence is already there and no one climbs onto her territory without her consent, she doesn't need to make it monolithic. A person with boundaries versus a person with a million. And finally, who is more attractive? Of course, a person with boundaries. If an attractive girlfriend lives next to you and every day drives her car over your lawn and breaks all the flower beds, how quickly will you forget she's attractive? In a week. People with clear, proper boundaries are always attractive. This isn't pickup. If you're also interested in the topic of building boundaries, please let me know. I'll continue to mix breakup videos with other videos on boundaries and building balanced relationships.